Hello and welcome back to my show. I hope you're well. Let's get to the news. The first thing we're going to talk about is how women, they favor hypergamy in men, which is men with higher, or at least that make 58% more than their own income. So it's not about attractiveness. It's not about them being hardworking or being a good father figure or a good husband. That's all out the window. So that's what they look for. But they look for three things in men: for protection, parental investment, and provision. Now, George Gammon, he sat down with an individual named Tomasi, who's he's a learned psychologist, like he studies psychology on his own, and the psychology of men and relationships and all that. So they were talking about tying politics with relationships. And Gammon pointed out that when a woman starts to have higher education, higher income, she looks for a man who, like we said, makes 58% more money than she does. That so if they get political jobs or legislative authority, they no longer look at a man, like we said, who fits into the lost boys generation. They're no longer sought out, where 80% of the men fit in there. Oddly and sadly enough, the 80% who are attractive males, and they're not the 20% of income earners, right? So they spoke about that, and Gammon chimed in and said about the UBI. Well, doesn't UBI or introduction of it allow those lost boy heroes to not have a purpose, no productivity? Because a man wants to know he has a purpose in life, right? And or a function, should I say? And they were discussing that as well, because now Tomasi has said the percentage of married couples dwindled down to a mere 6%, 6.1%, and it's not sustainable, meaning it will tend to decline even more. And how they spoke about how the society is trying to feminize the men and allow them to connect with their emotions and feelings, and a man becomes lost and confused and no longer a man, or a feminine girl is what he said. I think, don't quote me on that, but you know where I'm getting, right? So he says that as women become more educated, making more money, it will reduce the amount of prospects they have available to them, right? And then it closes their window for having kids, because now they'll look for men who are looking for women who are in their 20s, 21, 22, he said. They're no longer looking for women in their 30s, or, yeah, at that point. So, and to these women, these men who are the 80%, the lost boys generation, are not economically attractive. And that leads to higher divorce rates, because let's say a woman was a 6 and she got married, she might be looking for, if she sees a 7, she's like, you don't want to be with the 7, or an 8, and well, you know that. So he said that men have to make 58% higher than women, and this data was provided by Forbes. And the fact that men find women between 21 and 23 the most attractive, women should know that, right? When they get into those fields of having higher incomes, they need to know what's out there for them, and are they going to be of childbearing age as well. So that is pretty interesting stuff. If you ask me, tell me what you guys think about that. Is that true? Okay, I think there is a lot of truth to that. Now let's go to the market, where Powell says the economy is a long way from our goals. Last week we had 594,000 jobless claims. And so you know that. As well as he said there's a one-time transitory pressure. Powell said there that we are in, him and Yellen, that we are in a transitory inflation. This inflation that you're seeing is only temporary. is subject to change. So, and that our economy is recovering. But their concern is for price stability, not for inflation. They say we're not really having a persistent, or nor shall we expect a persistent inflation, even with all the shortages, the skyrocketing prices in lumber, like I spoke of the other day, where one East Coast lumberyard was selling to an Arkansas one, and they said that they were selling it for $1,500 per 1,000 square feet, where last March they were selling it for $900 per 1,000 square feet. But we're getting an economic recovery, even with all those jobless claims and unemployment. And that's where Gammon says that the UBI is not going to make things better for men, the 80% of the Lost Boys generation. They'll basically, if they go and speak to these women who are looking for a higher, the 20% income earners, they're going to get, he says, Tomasi said, they probably won't try to do that because they might get accused of harassment, and the Me Too movement will jump in. So that's like tough stuff to digest, I'm sure, right? Well, I'm still absorbing it myself because that's kind of sad. Now, moving on to other things. Yeah, we want to talk about NBC host, anchor, Lester Holt, where he said the other day, he said, fairness is overrated, and giving both sides of an argument, quote, equal weight are not merit, equal weight, and merit is not imperative. He goes on to say, the idea that we should always give two sides equal weight and merit does not reflect the world we find ourselves in. And he's correct. We are living in interesting times. Let's go to the market now, where the dollar took a hit. Silver fell 0.2%. The 10-year treasury is at 1.63%, when the day before it was 1.54. Don't quote me on that. Yes. So it's went up. Cryptocurrencies are soaring. Crude oil is surging. And Goldman Sachs are jumping into the game. So while Chairman Powell says that we're going to continue to spend $120 billion in assets per month, and that's affecting the dollar, the 10-year yield, and that could be the attributing factor for inflation or hyperinflation to come. So we'll see where that goes. That's all the news I have for you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. And we'll come to you tomorrow with new content. Be safe, be well, and don't let your heart be troubled. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in my next video. Bye.